The future is now.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Lamade, and today I'm here with some guests for another episode of Adulting is the Ghetto.
Ratatata!
I'm in the ghetto. Ratatata. Ratatata.
So, introduce yourself.
So my name is Peju and I am co-founder of Evented. This is my lovely partner.
Oh, my name's Chrissy, and that's my partner.
And I also own a hair and beauty company called Symmetry Beauty.
And I'm the owner of Laumi Interiors, which is for decorating and designing homes, offices, and everything else.
Amazing. Yes, so I brought them along to this episode to know how do they balance working with their side hustles or passion projects. The reason I'm interested in this topic is because I also run a mentoring organisation. I'm the co-founder of that, and it's called LIVE. That stands for Learn, Inspire, Visualise, Elevate, and it's for your 8th to your 13s to teach them the soft skills they need in a work environment. So why do you guys work and have a business? Why don't you just do the business full time?
I would say at the moment I don't feel like the business is at a point, or the businesses are at a point where they can sustain my expenses and my lifestyle, which is why I'm still working. But also I start when it came to working initially, because I had my first business before I even graduated from uni, before I started uni actually, and I worked because I also wanted to get experience in the corporate world. Even in regards to event planning, us having an events company, we both worked in the events industry to get experience from other organizations that are bigger than we are, so that we know what to do and we don't make certain mistakes. So for one, I would definitely say experience. Secondly, obviously financially. I remember reading something somewhere where it said, don't quit your full-time job until your business until you have savings that can cover your expenses for a year. Obviously that might be a bit extreme. If you want to take a risk, fantastic, because obviously if you're focusing on your business full-time, it means that you're putting 100% of your energy into it. But for me, the main reason why I'm still working, and I work part-time now, and I couldn't do that 3 years ago, is because of finances, really.
So what made you make that decision from going full-time to part-time, and how do you think that's benefited you?
So I decided to go from full-time to part-time because I realised that I just didn't have enough time to do everything. Like, I was getting exhausted physically, working 9 to 5 and running 2 different businesses. And I wasn't putting 100% into anything. And so I had to make that decision to move away from the full-time job, which wasn't necessarily my passion. And in return, me putting in more time and more energy into the businesses, it will then be able to cover the expenses or the amount of money that I was losing out on from changing from full-time to part-time.
Okay, thank you. And Chrissy, what's your story? Why did you start working whilst having the business as well?
For me, I didn't want to start working on a business without having funds, etc., to keep me going. I know when you have to run a business, there's always going to be expenses that you need to continuously make. You don't actually necessarily know how much you're going to gain profit wise from your business during the early stages, so it's always better to have savings or to have a financial element that keeps you going monthly. So I'd say that's why I even carry on working, I guess, until I'm I can be full-time forever.
So do you think it's wise to then, rather than just, unless maybe you have bank of mom and dad, to just get a job, get experience, and then transition out, rather than just being a full-time entrepreneur off the bat of university or as soon as you start the business?
I feel like it depends.
On people's businesses, because some can go into it with little income and then grow it, depending on what their business product is or what services they have. I'd say research is very important, because people have to kind of know what industry they're going into is like, in terms of their competitors, what they have to do to keep themselves going, how much like marketing they'll probably need. You know, people always say make sure you make the time whilst doing your 9 to 5, as well as putting the same energy into your business. So technically, I just started saying party after party. It's literally work after work, literally.
And I would never ever trade working a 9 to 5 in terms of the experience that I've gotten and the things that it has taught me. My first job out of uni, I was working in a sales job. Now I say to people, I put me in front of anybody and I can sell my businesses, and that's only because for a whole year I was selling something that I had no interest in, no passion about, to random people, and they were buying it.
Yeah, so even more so for your own
more so for my own business, you know. And I've had like managers from hell, for example, and it's taught me discipline. It's taught me how not to lead other people. It's taught me how to lead other people. I've learned from so many amazing people. One thing that when people ask me how do I balance everything and how do I juggle everything, literally it's sacrificing the time and actually prioritize. Because I always say to myself, why should I put in 8 hours into somebody else's dream, somebody else's vision, and then after work I'm too tired to even pour into mine. So it's literally about making that sacrifice. You know, you either wake up extra early to do some work, or you go to bed a bit later while you're doing some work. Another thing that I used to do was respond to emails and do a lot of my admin while I was on the train to work, or even during my lunch break was when I used to answer calls from clients and stuff like that. So just try and manage your time effectively. Having a mentor is very, very key. Someone that can push you, encourage you, someone you can learn from, but also someone that you're accountable to.
Could be a friend.
Yeah, because also, to be honest, when you own your own business, I mean, for us, for example, we're business partners, so we have each other to keep in check. But for my beauty business, for example, that's me doing it by myself, and so if I don't do certain things, they're just not going to get done. But having someone that you're accountable to genuinely does help to push you, to encourage you, but also to make sure that you are doing the things that you have said you're going to do and achieving those objectives.
How do you maintain high energy when doing like your own project after working for 8 hours and you're coming home? So let's say even though work for 8 hours, by the time you get home, like you might be shattered, especially if you had a long day at work. Like, how do you maintain the energy to still go and do your own work?
You would never ever always have that high energy. If anyone tells you that they do, then they should please tell me what they're on, because I would love some. The truth of the matter is, there's times where I have to remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. There's times where I have to go back to the basics. You know, there's times where I don't want to do anything because I'm tired, and it's okay. You can actually take a break, take a day off if you need to, take a weekend off if you need to.
Mental health is very important.
Exactly. You know, you can just re-energize, relax. It even allows you time to just think and rethink, think of new strategies, think of creative ideas.
You have to make sure that you're also thinking or having things that you also enjoy that is not as strenuous to you. So
absolutely. I was going to say, I remember when I first finished uni and I was now working full-time for the first time and juggling my business, and literally my life was work and business, because my time was so limited. But it was a struggle, and one thing I had to learn over time was that I had to create time to actually have somewhat of a social life, to get away from the whole, because everything at the end of the day is still work. So to get away from the work mentality, to relax, to rest, to spend time with friends and family, that's also very, very important.
Did you feel guilty doing so? Like when you first started, did you feel like you know how some people, they feel as if they're not wasting their time, but it's like, I'd rather use this time for their business, since they know that they don't even have much time in general, because a large proportion of the time is spent at work.
I get that. No, that thankfully that wasn't my reality. I didn't feel guilty because because I knew that I was still spending a substantial amount of time building the businesses. I was still spending a substantial amount of time at work, so I could sacrifice an hour or two. Because also I'm very big on friends and family, like they're important to me. The same way I can invest time in my businesses and in my work, then I should invest time in these people too.
Yeah.
And money isn't everything.
It is. You also need your friends or your family to keep you going, because they're going to give you they're going to give you the energy that you probably would not even have. So
It's true.
you need them.
And it's like life is not just work.
It is not. It is
Yeah.
not. As much as you can get, however many money, whatever, you know, you still need people around you to share it with, and you know, share the moments with you. So
I agree.
Yeah.
My next question, you kind of touched on this, but I wanted to go into more detail. What would you say your why is? So, you know, you said how sometimes you have to remind yourself of in regards to the business, like why you started. So if both of you would be kind to share what your why is.
My why, I mean, I'm quite an entrepreneurial person, to be honest. And I see different things. Like, I have friends who like, they bake, or they're really good at something. I'm like, oh, why don't we start a business out of this? And obviously I've had to learn that not everyone is like that. But essentially for the beauty industry, for example, I just enjoyed doing hair. I enjoyed seeing how it made people feel when they looked at themselves in the mirror and they thought, oh wow, this is me. Not necessarily them looking like a completely different person, but them looking like a better version of themselves, and seeing, you know, how beautiful they looked and then being happy about it. And then with the events industry, I've always enjoyed planning events, organising events, just putting things together. And I guess being an entrepreneur allows you to express your creativity the way you want to express it. It allows me to actually think deeper and, you know, push the boundaries. And that's something I found working in 9 to 5 can be quite restrictive, because I mean, I'm not the type of person that would work in an organisation and not try to give my own ideas or opinions on how we can do things better. But working in an organisation that has so many different hierarchies and so many different it's just so many limits to what can be done, and I just found it quite boring. Like, it didn't challenge me, it didn't motivate me. It was sometimes monotonous. That's the word. And so having my business to go to at the end of the day, that helped me. To be honest, you might be working a 9 to 5 that is creative, that allows you to, you know, have all of that. So you just kind of have to find what works for you.
I've always just enjoyed the business entrepreneurial element. And I've always got an idea, I've always got things that I'm just like, alright, cool, I want to do. And I've just never visualize myself being in a 9 to 5, and honestly, being in a 9 to 5 is a ghetto. I cannot. Like, honestly, like, it's not for me. And I feel like, you know, when you do certain things, you're just like, oh, okay, this is not for me. Like, my head of year was actually the first person who said to me, I'm not gonna work for anyone. And when he said that, I was actually quite offended. I was like, that's so rude, like, God forbid. But now I honestly, like, when I first went to work, I was like, yay! So it then had to teach me certain things, but then it's also me being thankful for what I've learned at work, because I've adapted it to my business.
So have you guys ever wanted to quit?
Oh yeah.
What, our businesses?
Like your businesses, Not even like your 9 to 5, your actual business.
Yeah, I mean, I've started businesses that I'm just like, I don't really like you no more. So, like, I think you also have to be very, very, very honest with yourself. So even for me, when I was doing hair, for example, I mean, I like doing hair on myself, but doing it for other people, I was just like,
Child,
this is the ghetto. Like, it just wasn't something that I could see myself like, okay, I want to learn this, or I want to do this, or get better at. I just didn't really care for it. Whereas my interiors, if you see me like shopping for different things, for bargains, like, I'm a bargain hunter, so I make sure that I use that to the max. But like, I'll be there in the shop for like 2 hours and I feel no way about it. Even if it's outside my working hours, I don't care. I'm literally enjoying what I do.
Yeah, I would definitely say that there was a time last year that I wanted to quit Symmetry, because it wasn't getting the results that it was getting in previous years, and so the goals that I had set for that year based on the results from the previous years were not, I just wasn't getting it. And I spoke to someone else who is in the industry, who's been doing it for longer than I have, and who's, you know, much bigger, and she said to me, honestly, that's something that a lot of us feel like at certain points, where we just feel deflated or we feel demotivated, and you just kind of have to remember why you started it and kind of go back to the basics. So for me, it was more of, okay, let me go back to enjoying doing hair. Let me go back to enjoying how, you know, this was something that I enjoyed doing and I would do for free. So let me just go back to that and, you know, creating like different styles and just going out of my comfort zone, just practicing on my doll head, you know, getting people to model for me and just doing all these things, that just going back to the basics, but also reminding myself that it's not all about the goals and the targets. It's true. You know, and one thing I learned is that if I was doing it for the money, I would have quit a long time ago. And so starting a business, really honestly speaking, I would not advise anybody, but this is just me, I would not advise anybody to start based on money, because they are going to get to points where you might not be breaking even, you might not be making the profit that you expect.
And what keeps you going?
And then, you know, are you just going to give up? And if I didn't have the passion, I would have given up, because I'd rather focus more on the thing that is giving me money. If, you know.
Yeah, I remember someone saying, I think it was one of my mentors, was like, follow your passion and money will follow. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any more things you want them to say as well, I'm gonna like put the details down below and everything. Follow them. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one.
Bye. Hello.
No. You know that that's what they do for audio. Anyways.
Hi, sorry, we're really short for time, so bye. I'm bringing us money, man.
Facts, but yeah, let them.
Woo!
Thank you. Bye bye.
We need to get out the ghetto real quick to help us. If you need events, we are your girls, okay? If you need your hair done, she's your girl. If you need your home, your office redecorated, I'm your girl. Yeah. And if you need someone to mentor your kids or cousins or nieces or nephews, she's your girl.
With Liv.
Ra-ta-ta-ta. Ra-ta-ta-ta. We're getting out the ghetto.
Yes. Get out.